You know that moment when a simple sentence just shakes the whole internet and nobody even saw it coming? That's exactly what happened when Maurice casually dropped that line, "Would you be the one for me?" And people first thought it was just one of those random emotional lines actors throw around, but now this one hit different because the tone, the timing, the look in his eyes. Everything just felt way too real to be acting, and before anyone could even process it properly, fans already started connecting dots like detectives on a mission. Because let's be honest, this is not the first time Maurice has said something that sounded like it was coming from a deeper place, but this one. This one carried weight, this one had intention. This one felt like it was directed at someone specific. And the crazy part is he didn't even mention a name, yet somehow everybody already knew who it was about without him saying a single word. And that's where things started getting even more interesting. Because once fans locked in on the idea that he was talking to Pearl Watts, everything just started making sense, in a way that was almost scary, like how do two people manage to communicate so loudly, without actually saying anything directly? And still have everyone understand exactly what's going on between them now. Let's talk about that chemistry, because it's impossible to ignore at this point. Every time Maurice and Pearl are on screen together, it doesn't feel like acting anymore, it feels like you're watching two people who already understand each other on a deeper level, and are just expressing it through characters. And that line, "Would you be the one for me?" didn't feel scripted, it felt like something that slipped out naturally, like he wasn't even trying to perform, he was just speaking from somewhere real, and that's why fans are losing their minds over it, because if it was just acting, people would have moved on already, but the way it lingered, the way it stayed in people's heads, the way it made everyone pause and go, wait a minute, this is not ordinary anymore, that's what made it special. And once the clip started circulating, online reactions started pouring in from everywhere, people replaying the moment over and over again, trying to catch every little detail from his facial expression to Pearl's reaction. Because yes, even her reaction didn't go unnoticed, and that's another thing that made fans even more convinced, because she didn't react like someone hearing a normal line, she reacted like someone who understood the deeper meaning behind it. And this is where things get even more intense, because when you look back at their previous scenes together, you start noticing a pattern that has been building up for a while now. It's like this wasn't just a random moment, this was something that has been slowly growing right in front of everyone, but people are only just now starting to fully see it and appreciate it. And that's why this one line hit so hard, because it felt like a confirmation of something fans have been suspecting for a long time. And let's not forget how their off-screen interactions have also been adding fuel to the fire, because every interview, every behind-the-scenes clip, every subtle glance they share, it all keeps pointing in the same direction. And now with Maurice dropping a line like that, it's like he just turned the volume all the way up without even trying. Fans didn't waste any time turning this into a full-blown discussion across social media platforms, with theories flying everywhere, some people saying it was definitely intentional, others saying maybe it just slipped out. But even those trying to downplay it couldn't deny that there was something different about that moment, because you don't just say something like that with that kind of emotion and expect people not to read into it, especially when you're paired with someone like Pearl Watts, who already shares such undeniable chemistry with you. And let's be real, if this was just about acting, there wouldn't be this level of reaction. Because people have seen countless romantic scenes before, but this one stood out, and that says a lot. What makes it even more fascinating is how both of them have managed to stay silent about it, like no confirmations, no denials, just letting the moment exist, and letting fans interpret it however they want, and in a way that silence is speaking even louder than words, because if there was nothing there it would be easy to clear it up quickly, but the fact that they're just letting it ride is making people even more curious and even more convinced that there's something deeper going on behind the scenes. And that's the kind of mystery that keeps people hooked, because everyone wants to know the truth. But at the same time, they're enjoying the suspense of not knowing. Another angle that people are looking at is how natural everything felt, because sometimes when actors try to create chemistry, it can feel forced. But with Maurice and Pearl, it's the opposite, it feels effortless, like they don't even have to try. And that's why moments like this hit harder, because it doesn't feel like a performance, it feels like a real interaction that just happens to be captured on camera. And when Maurice said, "Would you be the one for me?" it didn't feel like he was asking a character, it felt like he was asking Pearl directly, and that's what has everyone talking, because that kind of authenticity is rare. And when people see it, they recognize it immediately. Of course, there are still some people trying to play devil's advocate, saying maybe fans are Reading too much into it, maybe it was just a line in a script, but even those arguments are struggling to hold up because of the context surrounding the moment, everything from their body language to their history of working together to the way they look at each other. It all adds up in a way that's hard to ignore, and that's why this gist is not dying down anytime soon, because every time someone watches that clip again they notice something new, and it just keeps the conversation going. And let's not ignore how this is affecting their fan base, because the support for them as a pair has grown massively, with people now actively rooting for them, not just on screen, but in real life as well. And this moment has only strengthened that connection, because it gave fans something tangible to hold on to, something that feels like proof that what they've been seeing all along is not just in their heads. And that's powerful, because once fans start believing in a story like this, it becomes bigger than just entertainment, it becomes something they're emotionally invested in, and that's exactly what's happening right now. At the end of the day, whether Maurice intended for that line to carry that much weight or not, it has already made its impact, and there's no going back from it, because once something like this enters the public space, it takes on a life of its own, and people will keep talking about it, analyzing it, and connecting it to every little interaction between him and Pearl. And honestly, that's what makes this whole situation so interesting, because it's not just about one sentence, it's about everything that sentence represents, and everything it has revealed without actually saying too much. And now everyone is just watching closely, waiting for the next moment, the next hint, the next clue that might finally confirm what so many people already believe deep down, that when Maurice said, "Would you be the one for me?" he already knew exactly who he was talking to, and he didn't need to say her name, because somehow the whole world already knew it was Pearl. What's all along